What's up, Agents of Chaos? Your pal Gage Greenwood here. How you guys doing today? So we've been talking for the last few months all about Kindle Vella, and we're going to keep talking about that for more videos to come and today. But I want to talk a little bit today about what comes after Kindle Vella. What else should you be focusing on besides Kindle Vella? And as always, if you find this information useful, please hit like and subscribe, join the Agents of Chaos, and let's get rolling. So before we begin, I need to apologize to you guys a little bit. So yesterday, I sat down with a marketing manager, a very talented guy who works with Audrey Carlin, the #1 author on the Kindle Vella platform, along with a bunch of new authors who are seeing a ton of success. He is a master at marketing and a very intelligent guy who came on and brought me a ton of awesome information that I was going to share with you guys. And then something happened to the video and I was unable to release it for today. I'm sorry to you guys for that. I really wish that I could have provided you with that video today. And I'm sorry to Michael, who took time out of his busy schedule to be here all for nothing. I asked him if he wants to come back on, and I hope he does say yes. And if he does, I will have that video for you guys as soon as possible. But he's an extremely busy guy, as you can imagine, doing marketing managing for some of the most successful authors on the platform, among many other jobs that he has. So I'm sorry for wasting his time and for not being able to provide that video for you guys. But in our discussion, he got me thinking a lot. And in combination with that, I recently joined a group of avid readers who are big on supporting indie authors. And they're constantly buying books, and they like to get books signed by the author. Very supportive group of people, really awesome. I'm very glad I met them. And both of those things combined really got me thinking about what I'm doing and what I want to do. I've been talking to you guys about Vella for a while now, and I've really jumped on board with that, and I think that's an important thing to jump on. I think Vella is a really big deal. I think we need to look at that from a worldwide perspective for a minute. Oftentimes, things that are popular in Eastern cultures slowly move over and become popular in the West. Just now, manga overtook American comic books in America in sales. But manga's been popular for decades, and even longer in Eastern cultures. Serial fiction is a huge deal in other places. It's also been popular in America for a long time, but it's only going to get more popular. And with Amazon jumping on board with the serial fiction platform, Vella is probably going to be a big deal. And I know a lot of people don't see that right now because they started with a slow rollout and they've tried serial fiction in the past. But if you look at their attempts in the past, it almost seems half-hearted compared to what they're doing now. They're really putting a lot of energy into Kindle Vella. There's a lot of steps they still need to take to bring it to the level of where other serial sites are, but it does seem like it's going to be a big deal. And if you're an author and your goal, your dream was to become a serial writer, there's nothing wrong with putting a lot of eggs into the Vella basket. And it's good to know, if you're into serial writing, that there's a lot of other platforms out there if Vella doesn't work out. But for me, when I look at what my goal wasn't to become a Vella author. My goal was to become an author. Vella was just one platform. I am not a serial fiction writer to start with. It's something I wanted to try, and it's been very successful for me starting out, but it doesn't mean a ton yet. I've had a lot of authors tell me that they wish they were in my position when I'll come on and say like, I didn't hit my goal for the month, or been having a couple slow days. And then some authors will say, oh, I wish I was getting your likes and your reads and things like that. But you have to consider where I'm really at. I'm a new author. You're all new authors. Most of you are new authors anyway. And you could take our likes and our crowns and all of those things. And if Vella closed tomorrow, we're in the same boat. The long-term goal of being an author is getting readers who follow you. And right now, I don't have that. It may look like I do, but I don't. I have people who are following my story, and I could lose them at any minute. I could write a chapter that turns them off. They could just get busy with life and forget about my series, and they could go in another direction. I don't have the huge newsletter list and all of those things where I can really captivate an audience and keep them on Gage Greenwood. I have them on Winter's Myths, but I don't have them on Gage Greenwood. And when I was looking in that other group where they were talking about the books that they're buying and getting signed and things like that, I don't have that material. I have 2 short stories that are out in ebook. only, and I have the Kindle Vella. And I didn't envision being a serial writer. I envisioned being a writer, and I want to continue to write novels and short story collection and things like that. And that's not to say I want to back away from Vella. I'm going to continue to write Winter's Myths for probably till 2023 at least, 3 times a week. That's going to be a big focus for me. But I sit there and I think about these likes and these crowns and all of these things that are just superficial right now. And you may be saying to yourself, well, what about the bonuses? And yeah, there's the bonuses. They're not as much as you think they are. And they're going to get smaller every month as more and more authors come on. They're not something you can rely on. They're going to dissipate. Eventually, it's just going to be what you get from people reading your series, with maybe a small bonus on there. But I want to be an author with a huge collection of stories. I want to write volumes. I want to write series. I want people to recognize my name when they see a new book coming out and say, I can't wait to read this one. And writing serial fiction is very different than writing a novel. When I sit down and write a novel, there's a lot more that I'm thinking about than when I'm writing a serial, because I'm trying to get to the punch and move it along very quickly. And that's what I think you need to do with a serial. But I also enjoy that more full writing experience. So I need to stop focusing on where I'm at on Kindle Vella. That's not to say forget about it. I still want to be successful on there. I still want to move up in the ranks, and I still want to have a lot of people reading my story, but I need to bloom that into getting people to my email list and putting out the novel this year. I need to write. I want to write 3 episodes of this a week, write the novel, and finish some short stories to get a short story collection out. I want that all done this year. That's a lot of work. In addition to making these YouTube videos and doing all the other projects I have to work on and being a good dad to my son. So I don't have the time to check my stats the way I have been, because it's just taking up way too much time. And I'm specifically trying to speak here to the new authors. If you're having a slow time with your serial, you're not getting the reads you want, you're not getting the numbers you want, you have to remind yourself that the only difference between you and the big name authors is time. I made a big post about this on Facebook. The big name authors started where you were. They didn't have the reads that they wanted. They got depressed about their numbers, but they kept writing, and they kept looking at new ways to market themselves and their stories, and they kept fighting for themselves. And that's why they deserve the spot they're in now, and why you will too someday. But we have to get ourselves there, and we have to work hard at it, and we can't just expect Kindle Vella numbers to magically take us to somewhere, because even if you end up hitting those top spots on Kindle Vella, it's meaningless if that's all you got. You need to draw those readers from your series to you, because that series has to end at some point. Or maybe you plan on keeping it going for 10 years, but then where does that bring you? Where does that bring the reader? Will the reader follow it for 10 years? Maybe. Kindle Vella provides the author with a lot of opportunity to get excited about numbers. You know, ooh, somebody binge read my story today. Oh, I got a crown. Oh, I got 25 likes today. And all of those things you should be excited when that happens. But then where do you take that? And I think that's the important thing. And that's why I really hope that Michael ends up coming back on again, because he will tell you where to take that. He's a marketing guy. He knows how to take one thing and make it into something bigger and better. So I think it's important to ask yourself, what was your dream here? Was it to be a Kindle Vella author? If it was, then keep doing what you're doing. If it was just to be an author, if it was to be a writer, to make a living writing, to get a reader base, then you have to think outside of what's happening right now. Because if you put out an ebook, if you didn't do Vella, if you put out an ebook, the chances of it skyrocketing up in sales on your first book was very unlikely. So what you probably would have done was put that book out, looked every once in a while to see if it was doing okay, thrown out some ads, throw out some Facebook posts to remind people, but you would have just kept writing something else and something else. With Vella, you don't have that opportunity as much because you're continuously writing that thing. But I think you should also see what else you can do, what else you can write, or keep writing the Vella and just let it stand on its own and not focus so much on if it's not doing okay right now. Keep having goals, keep having a plan, keep writing, and keep marketing yourself, not just the Vella. This is something that I do wrong all the time. If you go on my Twitter and you look to before I was writing, 99% of my conversations were about comic books to comic book people. Everything after Vella has been nothing but new episode out, here's my Vella, new episode out. I'm not talking to people on there. I'm not being myself. I'm just promoting. That's not going to get me readers. Same thing with TikTok. I just post my videos of what I'm writing, and I see a lot of authors doing that. New episode, here's my story, come check it out. And you're not seeing their personality. There's a guy, a writer, who writes a fantastic series, by the way, on Vella, and he has some books on Amazon. His name is Al Chaput, and he is just the best on TikTok. He's dancing, he's just being himself. He's never even really promoting his series. He's just having fun, and that is going to get him an audience. We have to stop worrying so much about what we can do to get reads today and think more in the long term. The analytics are very important, but we have to remember to have fun too. Why was this our dream? Because we enjoyed it. So we got to enjoy it a little more. So that's it for today, guys. I know, nice and short. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll get Michael back on here. We can talk about the marketing stuff. If not, we have plenty more coming out about writing, editing, publishing, Kindle Vella, all sorts of cool things. So hit like and subscribe. Thank you. See you guys next week.